Ladies and gentlemen, good day and welcome to the Q1 FY23 earnings conference call of Suven Pharmaceuticals Limited. As a reminder, all participant lines will be in the listen-only mode, and there will be an opportunity for you to ask questions after the presentation concludes. Should you need assistance during the conference call, please signal an operator by pressing star then 0 on your touch-tone phone. Please note that this conference is being recorded. I now hand the conference over to Mr. Rishabh Brar from CDR India. Thank you, and over to you, sir.
Good day, everyone, and thank you for joining us on this call to discuss the Q1 FY23 earnings for Suven Pharmaceuticals. We have with us Mr. Venkat Jasti, the Managing Director, and Mr. Venkatraman Sundar, Vice President Corporate Affairs, and Mr. Subbarao, CFO. Before we begin, I would like to mention that some statements made in today's discussion may be forward-looking in nature and may involve risks and uncertainties. Documents relating to the company's performance have been mailed to you earlier. I now request Mr. Jasti to share his perspectives on the performance and outlook. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Rishabh. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in, and good evening to you all. As you know, Suven results will not be comparable quarter-on-quarter basis because it has its volatility because of the nature of the business. You can see that quarter-on-quarter there is a little less growth, little less revenue, but compared to the last year, at the same quarter, it's much better growth, both in terms of revenue, EBITDA, profitability, all aspects. Last year is a very good year for us. As you know, some of these old molecules which were repurposed for the COVID has additional sales. Also, there's one other COVID molecule was launched by the global innovator. So those sales are there, and they may be short-lived ones, as you know, because it's a pandemic. You may not get that every year, and that may be considered as a one-off. But that filling that gap for this year itself is going to be a task for us. But we are hopeful that we will do the way last year. At least to meet the numbers of the last year. One thing I want to bring it up is there are increased costs due to the logistics, due to some of the raw materials, especially solvents going up, and the higher inflation. All these are affecting a little bit of the profitability, but we could able to more or less maintain the profitability even under these trying circumstances. As I was telling, the last results are because of the COVID-related activity and all that stuff. There is a little transformation. This year will be a transformation year because the global innovators themselves are now coming back to the original goal of inventing molecules for all other diseases. Rather, they are concentrating only on COVID molecules. So there is a little gap that is going to happen, and since I have only 6 months visibility, I'm telling you right now it will be the whatever we're going to perform is going to be like last year's, filling in the gap of those that are lost to the COVID. But we hope in quarter 3 we will have a better idea how that will wrap up and surpass the last year's numbers. The other thing what I want to tell you is the little less sales in the specialty chemicals and formulations is the reason why it was quarter-on-quarter basis little bit less revenue growth this quarter. But that will keep changing quarter-on-quarter in other quarters anyway. As you know, we have gotten in Casper in April, and we were telling you last time that a few months later we should have the inspection done by the FDA, and I'm glad to inform you that on 25th to 29th of July the inspection was carried out by the US FDA, and the inspection passed without any observations. and already we have filed about 4 ANDAs, and the goal dates ranging back from March 23 onwards. So the revenue accretion will take place only post that. And another 10 will be filed within this year. And so the revenue generation from cancer will happen in the 23-24 time frame. If at all, some small amount may come this year, but this is the natural progression, and we are happy that things are going well without any delays. And in general, things are better. I mean, as I was telling you, getting the new projects are a little bit slower because of the transformation of the process from the big pharma, and we'll know by November, December time frame when the new budgets are taken care of by the pharma. Then this will, based on the talks we have with the customers, so it will be coming back to the normal, and it will have a good traction in the CDMO. So I just want to give you these qualitative things, and then I look forward for your comments and questions so I can answer you better.
Should we open up for questions?
Yes, please.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, we will now begin with the question and answer session. Anyone wishing to ask a question may please press star and 1 on your touchtone telephone. If you wish to remove yourself from the question queue, you may press star and 2. Participants are requested to use handsets while asking a question. Ladies and gentlemen, we will wait for a moment while the question queue assembles. The first question is on the line of Sudarshan Padmanabhan from JM PMS. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hello. Thank you for taking my question. Can you hear me, sir?
Yeah.
Yeah. My question is on the cost, as you had, talked in the fourth quarter and also in the opening commentary that, raw material cost, the solvent cost, as well as the transportation cost being higher. My, question to you is, when you're looking at it from a, trajectory perspective, how does the cost look when we are in the second quarter? Have we seen some kind of cost coming off, and how are we placed on this side?
Not that much difference. Not that much difference we see. I mean, whatever it is, tapered down compared to earlier quarters, but still continuing.
Sure. And my second question is, we are embarking on this, capex, 200 crores annually. And that is also, you had mentioned that, one of the specialty chemicals, could see commercialization later this year. There are a bunch of pharmaceutical CRAMS products which, are in the late stage, which can get into commercial. So if you can give some color, I'm not talking about on a quarter-to-quarter basis, but when we take, say, the next 2 to 3 years, we talked about, Casper, gaining some momentum going forward, say, from FY24. But specifically from the pharma CRAMS and specialty CRAMS, how do we see the commercialization gathering momentum, especially in the light of capex?
So it is not in our hands, as I was telling every time. This is the success of the molecules that the clinical trial will give us the opportunity to serve that product. Even the customer will not be knowing the results until the fag end of the trial is over. So then only we can, as of now, there is no indication, but going by the past few years, the traction is much better. And sometimes it can happen 2 or 3 molecules can go in a quarter or not. Sometimes 2, 3 quarters nothing can go also. But in general, seamless transition of the projects are happening. And with the new budgets coming in at the end of the year for the R&D purpose, and going forward with all the other indications other than the COVID, we see, based on the talks we had, better traction, and better, naturally, the traction and hopefully the success of the molecules that the clinical trial will give. So I cannot give you quantitatively, but qualitatively we are very confident that things are moving in the right direction, But quantitatively, I cannot give because I don't have any data, neither my customer has the data.
Sure, sir. Sir, can you share how much of molecules on the CRAMS and specialty are in the late stage, which can potentially get into the commercialization?
I mean, again, see, the number has no meaning in this place. I mean, if I say 100 and only 15 to 20 are only giving you the revenues. See, it is not a percentage like in a generic, I can give you a percentage basis. It can give you a 0 to 1, there is no in between. So number of molecules has no meaning because it's only the mix and match is the one that's giving us the things, and also the continued revenue generation from the already marketed products. But giving you a guidance based on how many will convert and all that stuff is a big task, and we don't have a crystal ball on that, neither my customers.
Sure. Thanks a lot, sir. I'll join back with you.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is on the line of Ankush Agrawal from Search Capital. Please go ahead.
Yeah. Hello, Mr. Jasti. Thank you for taking my question. So firstly, on this opening comment that you mentioned that last year we had some COVID-led extra revenues, and this year the organic growth would largely lead to filling up those revenues that won't be there. So would it be able to quantify how much of FY22 revenues were because of this spike which won't be available this year?
About 120 crores.
120 crores. Okay. And so which quarters we saw that impact? Because I remember last quarter, Q4 FY22, asking you this question, if, the higher growth of 40% that we were seeing for last 2 quarters, if that had some impact of COVID, but you mentioned at that time, that this is broadly not COVID-led growth, this is largely, organic growth. So what changed that?
No, it is, it was all the quarters, and but the third and fourth quarters were a little bit higher, especially fourth quarter. But what I'm saying is the organic growth will fill that gap. That's what, based on the existing orders and also based on the communications we have in the CDMO business.
Okay. Secondly, sir, on the Casper business, so now we have this approval in place, and you also mentioned that the timeline when you start seeing revenues. So would it be possible to share more color on the kind of opportunity that is there for Suven in terms of the end market size of the 3 products that we have filed?
See, we are not going after the big blockbusters. We keep telling you. These are the niche molecules and they're small volume molecules. And the total number will be filed by 14 to 15 in Casper itself. Out of that, 4 are already filed where the inspection has taken place. The goal dates are starting in March 23 onwards, and one may be before that. So at this time, it's very difficult for me because until we get into the year or 2 before we can give you a quantification.
Okay. But no, in spite, not molecule specific, but, what do you see that Casper would bring to Suven in the next 3, 4, 5 years? Some guidance on that.
What is it again?
Like not molecule specific in terms of end market size, but as an opportunity for us, Suven, what kind of, I remember in one of the interviews you mentioned that it could be a 300 crores. Sorry?
Yeah, by the time 25-26 comes, it will be around 300 to 400 crores we expect the formulation business to derive.
Right. Just a clarification lastly on this. So this is the pure profit sharing model, right? We are not getting any manufacturing margins out of it. So it's not a CMO kind of.
Put together, you get both put together. The sale price, which is cost plus, and also the profit sharing.
And what kind of percentage is that, sir? Is it like normal 50-50 or slow?
No, it keeps changing depending on the molecule.
I'm sorry. Okay, got it. That was it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is on the line of Amit Khurana from Dolat Capital. Please go ahead. Amit Khurana, your line is in the talk mode. Please go ahead. Mr. Amit Khurana, we are unable to hear you. Please go ahead. As there's no response from the current participant, we'll move on to the next. That is on the line of Darshit Shah from Nirvana Capital. Please go ahead.
Hi, sir. Thanks for taking my questions, and congratulations for this good results in this quarter.
Thank you, sir.
So you quantified that around 120 crores last year was due to this COVID drug. Sir, could you tell us roughly how much was, if at all it was, in this Q1 first quarter? If there was any contribution for the COVID drug?
I mean, we are not giving the drug by drug things, and we are only giving you the combined, because it doesn't make sense to give something which is not going to be repeated, and then again, people just put in Excel sheets and correlate it, and then we will not be able to meet that. So the best thing is to give you the things, because especially the COVID-related drugs, as I said last time, so it will be one-off kind of thing. One-off means 1 year, something like that. Cannot vary.
Correct. So my only wanted to understand, because you said out of that 120, major contribution came in third and fourth quarter. So if you look at Q1 numbers currently versus last year Q1, we have done fairly well, and we have grown around 30% year on year. So just wanted to have a feel on that.
See, ours is, you cannot compare like a generic things where we have same product given. So you cannot compare with that. If the product mix change will be there, and the valuations of the products also there, and the stage of the product also is there. So many variables. So you cannot compare year on year, yes, but not quarter on quarter.
Got it. And so on if you look at our annual report this time, we are talking quite a bit about forward integrating, where we want to make intermediates to more intermediate and KSMs and APIs, and also full life cycle management services for a few of our global innovators. And we have been telling that we have been in conversation with few of the clients, but that has been delayed due to COVID. So where does it stand now? How this opportunity?
We are restarting that activity with the customers, and the travels has not started yet, and the activity which we are starting now hopefully will culminate into their travel into India, so that they can start the activity. So we are started all over again. So.
But you see this to be a very good opportunity to materialize over the next 2-3 years?
Yeah, it takes even for any change with the innovators, it takes at least a minimum of 3 years before you see any tangible results. So we hope. Unfortunately, when we started this activity way back in 2019, the 20 came in, and we lost 20, 21, 22 now. So I think 25 time frame, we should be able to get some, hopefully, some kind of a traction into this kind of activity of forward integrating it, and also the life cycle management.
And so my last question is on how much does the cash in books lie after paying off cash for around $20 million?
We are 380 crores now.
Okay. Thank you, sir, and all the best.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Abdul Qadir Puranawala from Elara Capital. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi, sir. Thank you for the opportunity, and congrats.
Sorry to interrupt, sir. Your audio is sounding very soft. Can you speak a bit louder?
Is this better?
No, sir. It's still the same.
Yeah, is this better now?
So much better. Thank you. Please proceed.
Yeah, hi. Hi, sir. My first question is on the CDMO side. From the last 2 quarters, I mean, if I just look at the quarterly sales run rate, I mean, we are at close to 210 crores. So just to better understand, this sort of a revenue, I mean, whether it is the clinical molecules which are driving the pace, or there is some traction what you have seen on the commercial side. Again, I'm not looking out for any specific numbers, but directionally, if you could highlight, would be useful.
It's a combination. It is a 60-40 tilting towards the commercial.
Okay. And so secondly, on your guidance, so earlier you have been guiding for a meeting 10 to 15% growth. So are we still maintaining that on the 120 crore base what you have, or excluding that we are maintaining the guidance?
No, as I mentioned in my earlier opening statement, last year's growth, which is because of the COVID, which is to the tune of 120 crores, filling that gap itself unorganically is a challenge for us, and we are hoping that it will be done. But 10 to 15% growth I have not given this time because, as I said, this is a transformation year not only for us but also for the customers who are always mainly focused on the COVID is now coming back into the main field into an R&D. So that will give us a traction to the new projects, and that will give you things. In the end of third quarter, I can be able to give you much better growth. As of now, we are sticking to the last year's numbers.
Okay, sure. And so just finally on the CDMO specialty chemical business, so here we had added one molecule which had got commercialized towards the start of FY22. So how is the traction there? Because
No, that is a initial requirement only, because unlike this is not going to be a global one, unlike the formulation. Unlike the human medication. So it will be a small quantity, and it will be at least a year and a half or 2 years before we get the repeat business.
Got it, sir. Thank you so much, and wish you all the best.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Amit Khurana from Dolat Capital. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thanks for the opportunity. This is Rashmi Sancheti from Dolat Capital. So my question again on CRAMS business, can you give us the total number of molecules? Can you give the breakup in phase 1, phase 2 and phase 3 currently we have?
So we have stopped giving you that breakup because the numbers are not giving you right indications. Because if I give you, as I was telling earlier, if I have 100, but my revenue generation is only on 20, so the number has no meaning. So we are dispensed away with that very difficult things for us to tell which one gives you this and which one is going to give you that one, which phase, because there is a gap for everything. From phase 1 to phase 2, it is a year gap. From phase 2 to phase 3, it's a year and a half to 2 year gap. 3 to launch, it's a 3 year gap. All these things. So it's really difficult for us. That's why we're doing a combined activity in the CRAMS, both the commercial and the the preclinical.
But we had 5 products in phase 3. Out of that, also we were expecting that one product will get commercialized.
I have not gotten any indication so far. The phase 3, as I said, it takes 3 years before you see any result. Out of that, only one is a 1.5-year-old. The other ones are 1-year-old only. So it's a long way to go. So that's why we cannot give any guidance on that, and also breakup also.
But as of now, sir, today we have total 5 products in the commercial stage, right? Which we are supplying, and the last being the anti-infective, which is a COVID molecule.
Yeah.
And sir, when you said that CRAMS has really done well because of both base CRAMS as well as because of the commercial supplies. So commercial supplies, you meant that the 5th molecule we have supplied in a big way in this quarter, and how is it expected in the subsequent quarters?
We didn't say it's a big way. We have supplied, we said. And also I said that this COVID molecule is going to be a one-off kind of a thing. So you cannot expect that to continue ramp up. That is not the indication what we got from the customer.
Okay. And sir, on specialty side, currently we have around 3 molecules, right? So any particular guidance, like earlier you used to always say that, we will be doing a flattish growth because the third molecule will gradually pick up. Do you still stick to your guidance that, we will be doing more or less what you call flattish growth, or we see that, that molecule can pick up?
As of now, it is I stick to the same old guidance. Since the third molecule, as I said, at least 1 year away before we get the repeat business. So that amount will not be there. So with that also, I'm just sticking to the same thing. There may be 5% this way or that way can happen. Other than that, not much difference.
Okay. Sir, and on formulation business, you said that Casper, we have filed 4 ANDAs. Can you give us, organically how much ANDAs we have filed? I think we have around 8 products on shelf in the US market, right? So if you can give, how much Suven has filed, or if you can just club totally and give the numbers to us.
As of now, we have filed about 20 in Suven. I'm not talking about Casper. Okay. Out of that, 10 are approved, 10 are launched already. And in Casper, we have filed 4, and the goal dates are starting March of 2023 onwards. And another 10 will be filed during the year in Casper. So another 7 or 8 will be filed in Suven. So it will be by that time about 40 will be filed by the end of March of 2023. All put together.
And sir, what did you say in FY23 Casper? Are we expecting any launches from this Casper, or we expect that it will take around 1 or 2 years time?
No, it will start doing from March of 2023. That means the results will be in fiscal 24.
Okay. And so my last question again on the breakup, in your overall formulation and other services of around 11 crores, how much is the formulation business in Q1 FY23 and versus quarter 4 FY21?
That's the formulation only, no?
No, sir. So whatever number which we are giving.
Oh, services will be, 1 or 1.5 crores.
Sorry, I didn't get, sir. So there is a formulation and tech services.
Services will be less than 2 crores.
Tech service, other services would be 2 crores, you said?
Yes.
And rest all is, so at least 9 crores is formulation only.
Right.
Similarly, last quarter in Q1 FY22,
I don't have the numbers handy right away.
25 crores was the total reported sales from formulation and other services. So roughly, how much was the formulation that time?
Formulation was 11 crores.
11 crores. Okay, so it has really declined.
Yeah, actually, it depends on the when we launch and all that stuff. When we launch, that time is more, and then when the repeat business comes, then it takes time, and you can have more maybe next quarter.
Okay. All right, sir. Thank you. That's it from my side.
Thank you.
Thank you. A reminder to the participants, anyone wishing to ask a question, may please press star and 1. The next question is from the line of Sachin Kasera from Swan Investments. Please go ahead.
Yeah, good afternoon, sir. One question on the formulation business. Your annual report mentions about 4 wheels that you are putting in there. And you also are mentioning that once they start to do well, there would be a significant and growth and profitable driver. So can you give us some sense, which area are we looking when all these products will start to do well? Is it like FY25, 26? Any broad idea you can give us?
As I said, by the time 25-26 comes in, we should have about 300 to 400 crores on both sales plus profitability numbers put together.
Okay, I thought 340 you were mentioning was only Casper. That 340 is including Suven's own formulation.
No, the Casper is not even a starter, right? We are putting it together.
Okay. Secondly, sir, you have mentioned about new service offerings of forward integration and life cycle management for existing clients. Can you give us some more perspective on that, sir?
As I said, we started this activity way back in 19, and some of 2 customers they showed willingness and they want to put resources to that, but unfortunately, COVID stopped all that activity. And we are restarting that activity this year because now they started slowly coming to visit facilities. And I think it will take another 4 to 5 months or 6 months. Hopefully, in the calendar year 23, we should be able to have them come here and then do the diligence and all that stuff. If everything goes well, at least it takes 3 years before you can get any tangible results out of this initiative.
But over the 3-4 year period, sir, can this be a good part of our revenues, or it is just a small extension to what we do? Or can it be a significant revenue driver over a period of 3 to 4 years?
Until it is intent is there, until it is passed, there is a speculation to give a huge run-up onto this one, right? So naturally, it will have value-added things, and it will be additional revenue and all that stuff, and it will ramp up eventually. But right now, even we have not started yet, even getting an approval, so it's not fair on my part to give you a number on that. But it will be accretive and additional. It may start slowly, but it will increase naturally, like a caramsite salt.
Sure. And finally, sir, can you give us some status a bit on CapEx, how much you plan to do in FY23, and if anything on 24 also, if you can give us some visibility?
FY23 will be about 225 to 250 crores altogether, including the replacement CapEx.
And 24 also we should see some similar numbers?
Yes, 200 to 250, yes. See, this is out of the 600 we have marketed. This is the first tranche we are doing. That if there's a replacement capex for the Suryapet unit, putting a new block instead of the old block. So the volume may be a little bit higher, but it's not going to be too much of a higher volume creation because it's only a replacement of the 35-year-old block. With a new block, with modern equipment and modern systems and meeting both EHS, safety and regulatory, all aspects of taking care of those things.
Sure. And so lastly, any approvals expected in Suven formulation this year on the ANDA side? You mentioned that around 10, some 15, 16 you have filed and some are pending at 4 years.
Now nothing is visible, but we are expecting 5 or 6 to come in the next 3 to 4 months.
Okay, that's great, sir. Thank you and all the best.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Darshan Shah from White Equity. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thanks for the opportunity. Just a bookkeeping question from my end. What would be the revenue contribution from top 2 customers in FY22?
It keeps changing. I mean, why restrict to 1 year? Because every year, every quarter, it keeps changing. Because if I supply a commercial molecule to the same customer, he will be number 1 customer that quarter, and then there will be a gap of 6 months to 9 months. Then again, it will come. So it's very difficult. It is out of the top 6 people, it keeps changing number 1 and 2. And only specialty chemical is completely always is number 1.
So I was specifically asking for this because in this year's annual report, we have not displayed.
I'm not going to give you breakup of the customer by customer, sir. It's not possible because it's not a consistent. I cannot tell you. If I say customer is giving 20% this quarter and next quarter he may not be anything, so it doesn't make sense now to give this kind of numbers. You need the final number and the profitability, not customer by customer. And as I said, it is switching between 6 to top customers, and out of the 20, keep changing.
Okay. That's it from my end.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Dhiresh from White Oak. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you for taking my question. Just one clarification. This, like for last year, you said that in pharma CDMO there is 120 crore of one-off. This quarter, in the 210 crore, is there any one-off, or this is like the base?
What is it? Yeah, small amount of one-off is there still.
Okay. And sir, last question on this 600 crore that you said. Can you just refresh, like 200 crore is replacement and rest is all.
Let me give you once for all. I mean, I keep telling and people keep asking.
Yeah.
600 crore we have taken out of that. 400 crore is replacement capex. One is for the the Suryapet block. That's for 200 crores. And when we have to move out Girimatla R&D, then that will be for 200 crores. That can be next year or a year after. The other 200 crores is only mainly for the some technologies and for the additional block in Pashamailaram. As and when we see the traction and we have to do proactively ahead of time, that most probably we'll do during the next year. So that will be next year. So we have started only the replacement capex. So Suryapet, we just started. We have spent about 40 crores, 35 to 40 crores now. But that 200 crores will be spent before the end of March. So that the replacement block will be operational.
Understood. So this year capex is largely replacement capex, that 250 that you mentioned.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you. The next question is on the line of Abdul Qadir Puranawala from Elara Capital. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you for the follow-up. So just one question on the formulation business, which we're saying that by 25 would become a 300 to 400 crore of a top line. So just wanted to also understand how would the margin profile look of this business? Would it be in line with what the company level margins are, or some color on that would be helpful?
Yes, I want to give clarification to everyone that is unlike the pure generic formulation. This is like a CDMO activity for us, and our margins will profile be almost in the same level as not of the full CRAMS, but in between the specialty chemicals and CRAMS.
Got it, sir. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you. The next question is on the line of Mayur Parkeria from Wealth Managers India Private Limited. Please go ahead.
Good evening, sir. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Good evening, sir, and good set of numbers, sir. Sir, just two questions, actually, something related to the previous one only. The CRAMS business, the Casper business, which we earlier had indicated that it's relatively lower margin compared to our base business. So, will FY24 actually be given whatever scale up happens? Will it impact the weighted average margin at the company level, or the business will still be small enough that the overall margin may not impact so much?
It will not impact. It will not impact as far as we are concerned. That's what our guess estimate is, but only time will tell. But as of now, we're based on the whatever little experience we have on the formulation side over the last few years, and based on the products we are choosing and the profitability, the profit sharing aspects, we think we are in a better shape than the most of the other guys. But the volumes may not be humongous like other people.
Right. Okay. Right. And sir, the second one was actually same thing. The block which we are replacing right now, is it that because of the continuous capex continuously going on, there is a constraint on the revenue growth from that side? Had that not been, then could we have done better?
Nothing like that. I mean, see, we are talking about in a safety aspect, a 35-year-old block and all constraints, which we need to take into consideration. So, and also this will give an opportunity to do the forward integration products rather than only earlier stage intermediates also. All this will happen, but there's nothing like not having done, we lost anything like that. Having done, we will gain anything, because neither the volume is growing up other than the regulation, upgradation is taking place. And also what happens is some cost will be better, because those days it was smaller size reactors. Now you can take a bigger size reactors. Naturally, throughput will be more. So the consumptions will be better and throughput will be better. Some cost advantage will be happening. That all will happen in due course of time.
But no major impact on the capacity currently because of that. That's not.
No. Replacement means we are going to replace this block only once this is in place. The other one will be taken off.
Okay. Right, sir. Thank you, sir. And wish you all the best.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Ankush Agarwal from Search Capital. Please go ahead.
Yeah. So again, this clarification, so you just mentioned that the formulations margins will be somewhere between the specialty chemicals and pharma CDMO. Did I hear that right?
Yes.
But sir, going back again to what you said in Q4 FY22 that, formulation margin would be somewhere around 25% EBITDA margin. So again, there's a difference between what you had said earlier and now what you're saying now.
What is it again?
In Q4 FY22 Concall, you said that formulations EBITDA margin would be 25%, right? And now you're saying that...
You only heard me there, but after that I also came back and said that my initial guess estimate is wrong because I not have much experience on this side. And now that we have some experience on the profitability, we have toned it down that number, not at 25% of the total volume. So that last time itself I said, not this time.
No, you said 25% margins. I'm not saying volumes.
I don't know. I said it already. If not on here, at the NBC maybe. Wherever I told already clearly. That is where I did not. I expected that the 25% should happen, but that did not happen. But the profitability side, we are very confident.
What I'm saying is, you earlier mentioned that formulations EBITDA margins would be 25%, right? Now you're saying that formulations margin would be somewhere between specialty chemicals and pharmaceuticals. So that would be like 35-40% kind of EBITDA margin, I'm saying.
I never said 25% EBITDA margin. I said profit sharing. Profit sharing changes. If it's 50%, 40%, 30%, 25%. That is a profit sharing is a pure profit. That to that added is whatever the plus on a cost plus basis. So it will be more than what number is actually, because that way you have to look at it.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Ranveer Singh from Edelweiss. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you for taking my question. So just one clarity on ANDA filing. You indicated that total 40 ANDA would be filed by end of FY23. So just wanted to understand that.
Together, both places.
Sorry, come again.
Both in Suven and Casper put together.
Yeah, so I wanted to understand whether all the ANDA would be partnered or there would be some of them directly will be selling.
No, I have 6 customers already, including Rising, right? So this, the bulk of it will be for the Rising because all the Casper things will be for Rising, as you know. And in Suven, it is spread out to all the other people also.
So Rising is not the only partner, I think. Okay, so
Casper is Rising the only one, but in Suven, it's 6 customers are there already.
Okay, so for example, if 20 ANDA is filed by Casper, that all 20 ANDA will go to Rising Pharma, right?
That's on Casper, yes.
Okay. Yeah, that's it. That's clear.
Thanks.
Thank you. A reminder to the participants, anyone wishing to ask a question, may please press star in 1. As there are no further questions, I now hand the conference over to the management for the closing comments.
Thank you everyone for tuning in to this quarter 1 results of Suven Pharmaceuticals Limited. As I said, the last year is a good year, and there are some one-offs, and those one-offs will be filled due to the organically this year. But the transformation at the customer level and also the transformation from the COVID led to other growth, we are not able to give you any additional guidance other than meeting the last year's numbers. Hopefully, I'll be able to give you guidance at the end of this third quarter, and hope to surpass the last year's number. That hope, and I thank you again for tuning in, and talk to you next update after the quarter 2 results. Thank you.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of Suven Pharmaceuticals Limited, that concludes this conference call. We thank you for joining us, and you may now disconnect your lines. Thank you.